What's up, my people? This is ShowBizz the Adult. All right, man, look. What are we looking at? Cherry pickers? Cherry pickers. Oops! All right, man, look. It's Terrence Crawford and Triple G. Are they cherry pickers? The reason why I asked this question is because I posted in my community that I was excited about the top ranked card with Terrence Crawford taking on the Mean Machine and Richard Comey taking on Teofimo Lopez and Colin. I like that card. But in the comments, you have boxing fans that are looking pretty concerned about this now, about Terrence Crawford, who he's facing. Starting to call him a cherry picker. Coffee. So I decided to throw Triple G in the mix because we know Triple G may be facing Meta next. Who? Coffee. Let's talk about Terrence Crawford for a minute. Terrence Crawford to me never came off as someone that was a cherry picker ever, okay? Terrence Crawford took on everybody, cleared out the 140 division, the junior welterweight division. Became undisputed. So I never saw him as somebody that was a cherry picker. Terrence Crawford is funny how Terrence Crawford fans and Errol Spence fans point the finger at each other for each fighter doing the same thing. It's the funniest thing to me. When you look at Terrence Crawford, he's called everybody out. As soon as he entered the welterweight division, he called them all out, and he ended up taking on Jeff Horn. He had to. Jeff Horn, why not? Terrence Crawford became the WBO mandatory for Jeff Horn. Yeah, take him, knock him out, grab a belt, okay? Get a strap season. Terrence Crawford went on, he took on Benavidez, took on Amir Khan, now he's taking on the Mean Machine. But he didn't do that by ducking any fighter. He called everybody out, and now his welterweight resume is not looking the best. Which is how Errol Spence got to the point of, who has he fought? He got to that point because he was calling everybody out and nobody wanted to fight him, and he had to fight who he could. He had to fight Chris Algieri and Bundu. He had to go and get a strap from Kell Brook. People don't like to give him that victory, but I do. He took the strap from Kell Brook. He took on Lamont Peterson, and he worked his way to being somebody that was unavoidable when he took on Mikey Garcia. And people were like, hey, why you take on an undersized Mikey Garcia? Now he's unavoidable, though. Good business move by Errol Spence. But then when you look at his resume, who has he fought? And people blame him for it. Well, that's what's going on with Terrence Crawford. If you can't see how they compare with each other, and the fact that they're so comparable and so similar, if you can't see the similarities, that's an issue. Maybe you're just too biased. But Terrence Crawford, he is, quote unquote, across the street. So now he's taking on the Mean Machine. And that's the politics of the sport. Also, the Mean Machine is his WBO mandatory. The only way to avoid taking on the Mean Machine is to have a unification bout. Who can he unify with? Errol Spence, he took on Sean Porter, and a candidate for Fighter of the Year. So in hindsight, we couldn't think, there's no better matchup that could have happened than Errol Spence being an IBF champion against Sean Porter being a WBC champion and putting on for the fans candidate for the Fighter of the Year. So we're happy that fight happened. Plus Sean Porter, his stock rose up because his stock was down after the Ugas fight. So a lot of great things happened after Errol Spence versus Sean Porter. We're happy that fight happened. So he can't fight either one of those guys. So the only other person holding the strap is Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao, he was focused on Mikey Garcia. Now his focus has been derailed, and now he's looking at Floyd Mayweather Jr. Okay, so that has to hash out. Manny Pacquiao, he's not a part of the conversation right now. So there's nobody to become unified with. There's no unification match to make. So he has to take on his WBO mandatory, which is the Mean Machine Cavalakis. That's just how it is. That's what's going on. That's not him being a cherry picker. That's what's available. And he has to take him on, or else he'll have his WBO strap taken from him. Let's talk about Triple G. Triple G is taking on Meta. Who he is, what's he, 20-0, 21-0? Only 5 KOs. Doesn't have much power. But he's the IBF mandatory. Comes back to these mandatories. The difference with Triple G and Terrence Crawford is this one thing. You can have a unification bout that trumps that mandatory. Now, unification bout is with Andre. See? You have a unification bout with Charlo, but he's across the street and he's taking on Dennis Hogan. Who? That's how a lot of people feel. But I know Dennis Hogan, one hell of a fighter. Looking forward to that fight. But that's besides the point. Andre, he's on the zone. Triple G, he's on the zone. It looks like that fight can be made. You can have that fight. That's unification bout that trumps the IBF mandatory. Why not that fight? So that's a valuable question. Either way, if they can't make that fight, Triple G, he has to take on his mandatory. And that's who Zarameta is. We'll see. It looks like that's his next opponent, but that's not in stone yet. So let's hope that's not the case. Why? Because Triple G took on Sergey Derevchenko, who is also across the street. They were able to make that fight. So you can make fights across the street happen. Sergey Derevchenko, he wasn't as known. He was a who? But I knew who he was. I knew Sergey Derevchenko was going to put on one hell of a fight, and I think he should have gotten a nod. Because of that, and plus Triple G being 37 years old, his stock has dropped. Now, if you take on Zarameta, it's like, come on, man. I think Triple G is a little bit too concerned with Canelo Alvarez. I think that his career, his legacy takes a jump up. It rise, actually, if he were to try to take on Andre for a unification bout. I'll tell you this. Either way, I don't see Terence Crawford or Triple G as cherry pickers. Especially not Terence Crawford. I actually get both of their bouts, taking on their mandatories. I think Triple G would do his resume, do his career, do his legacy, one better, two better, maybe three better, maybe far better, far greater if he takes on an Andre for a unification bout. ShowBizz, don't let me know what you think in the comments below. I don't think Terence Crawford is a cherry picker. And I think let's have a little bit of patience. I think sometime by next year he'll be taking on Errol Spence. But I don't think this should be the Errol Spence show. If he doesn't take on Errol Spence, you got people like Sean Porter who will be a good fight for Terence Crawford. You also got fighters like Keith Thurman who will be a good fight for Terence Crawford. So I would love to have one of those fights. Manny Pacquiao, he didn't fight him before. I'm not sure if Terence Crawford and Manny Pacquiao can make that fight. But that'll be a great fight too. I'm out. Huh.